First question, do you think 2 courses, 4 rounds is better for your stops?
I don't fully understand that question, but I think it is just referencing, is it better to play 2 courses on tour? Yes and no. We usually have Monday is usually a travel day. It depends on if it's a 3-day or a 4-day tournament. If it's a 4-day and they typically start Thursday and Sunday, then you get there Monday and you usually practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Well, Thursday the tournament starting if it's a 4-day. So that's only 2 days of practice on a tournament that has 2 courses. So you only get 1 day on each course, and that's if the weather's permitting. So if it's 1 course, that's okay, because sometimes you can squeeze in Monday, but typically you just have Tuesday, Wednesday to practice. So 1 course is preferable. I know as far as a viewing standpoint, it's hard to watch if they're playing the same course all 4 days, but as a player, it is more beneficial if you're on tour to play 1 course, practice 1 course, because then you can kind of see the ins and outs. But if you have a little bit more practice time, then I think 2 courses is fun and fair.
Kansas is known for being windy. How does that affect your plan for a practice round on a course versus a calm, no wind day? Like if both of your practice rounds are windy and then the tournament day is not, how does that affect you?
If I had it my way, I would have every practice round be calm, and then tournament days you have to deal with the wind, because you kind of have a sense of what your overstable discs are. And it's easier to predict an overstable disc, because that's kind of why you throw an overstable disc, is so it just gets to the ground quicker and is going to fight any wind or a majority of the wind and just hides her out every time. So that way you can kind of work more on the form itself if it was calm. I think that's more important than shaping the shots in a practice round, is getting your form down. Playing in Kansas with this wind is kind of it's a known that you're going to be playing in wind. Calm is the oddity here. So if it was just windy every single day for practice and then windy every day for the tournament, I think that's ideal, because then you really get to dial it in. But yeah, I like practicing in the calm more so than anything. It's less frustrating.
Have you ever thrown a practice round using discs you would not usually throw an attorney, just to see what other options you might have that you could add to your bag, or is it just the usual set?
I think that's 100% correct, where I throw a lot of discs in my bag. Like I probably have 4 or 5 forces in my bag practicing for this event that people have never seen me throw, because I want to see what they act like in the wind. I want to, if I lose one, I want it to be one of those rather than the ones that have been in my bag pretty much all year. So I do have a lot, and sometimes they'll stay, sometimes I'll take them out and lighten my bag up, but I have probably 6 or 7 forces in my bag right now, and a majority of them are ones that people haven't seen me throw in tournaments or on coverage. So, and that's just the drivers. The mids and putters are like that too, because I think I only have 4 mid-ranges in my bag. 2 of them buzzes, 2 of them Maltas, because it's so windy you don't really throw a mid-range here. And then just at the off chance, there's a lull in the wind and I have a shot that calls for a mid-range, then I have them there just in case. But for the most part, all the mid-ranges are gone, most of the fairways are gone, and it's just distance drivers and putters.
What is your main focus going into a practice round? Is it assessing lines, predicting ground play, positions? What's going on in the mind of the GOAT during a practice round?
I think this has a lot to do with one of the questions asked earlier about 2 courses or 1 course. If you have 1 course and you got 2 practice days, I like to use 1 to learn the course, figure out the ins and outs of the course, the fairways, the greens, all that stuff. And then the day before the event, I want to dial in my discs. So it's more so just focusing on the discs I'm throwing, focusing on the angles and stuff like that. So ideally it's two practice rounds, and then for the tournament, so 1 and 1. So 1 learning the course, 1 learning the discs. But sometimes it's a little difficult, so you got to throw the discs that you're familiar with.
In the video with Nate, they brought up how par 4s are usually the easiest holes on courses. Could you elaborate on why that is and how to fix that without adding gimmicks to make the holes unenjoyable?
I don't know if I necessarily agree that they're the easiest. I just think the way that course design has been and how course designers are, they tend to do that and make them easy. I think par 4 should actually be some of the hardest holes on the course. And I just think it's something that needs to be worked on in course design. I think that's something I look for. I think par 5 should be a little bit on the easier end, and sometimes, I think they should go both ways, par 5s, but I think par 4 should be challenging. I think they should, if you're gonna get the birdie, it should demand a great shot and a great upshot, not a good shot and a good upshot. Like, And if you're just throwing good and good, then you should have a soft approach for a par.
When your putt is off, how do you identify what the issue is? Assuming something is off right now, have you identified what it is?
Yeah, with my putt, I feel like it's a little off. I think confidence is a big key to that. And I think just getting the right angle coming out of my hand and getting the right pop off of it is what I've been struggling with, not getting a consistent nose angle coming out of my hand. But it's like, it's tournament after tournament after tournament after tournament. So it's like I don't have a time to stop and just focus on putting for a week and figure it out and get it all in. So it's like, it's difficult in that aspect to where I get like a couple hours a week just to focus on putting, because I still got to get ready for the course. I still got to get ready for the tournament. I still got to focus on my drives and my upshots and all that. So, and then let alone the media side that I have to do as well. So it's been nice to not play last week because I could put a lot more focus into my putting going into the DDO and for the rest of the year. And once I get another break like that, I'll be able to focus on it a lot more. But I don't want to just be like, all right, I'm focusing only on putting, even though I have a tournament coming up. I'm not going to worry about the driving, because that could go away just as easily too if I stop working on it as well.
How has being married changed the way you go on tour and how you prepare?
It's changed because it's not just me anymore. I can't just focus on me. I can't stay at any hotel that I want. I can't, it's not a lot of I anymore, to where if I wanted to just wake up and go practice and play, I could do that because I have someone else to think about now. But I don't think it's affected the time or the amount of practice or anything like that. It's more just having to structure it a little bit more, because I can't just, I'm hungry, I'm going to go leave. It's like, hey, what do you feel like? Hey, oh, I can't have that, and things like that. So it's just a little bit more considerate of someone else rather than just focusing on myself the whole time.
What would you say your favorite meal is before you play, if you eat? And if you don't, talk about that.
If I had a choice, like before every round, I would just have a smoothie of some sort. I think those are something that I can put down pretty easily and hold down, because it is hard, because I get nervous at some of these events, and it's hard to eat when you're nervous. It's hard to hold stuff down, because you can eat it, but like it just feels like it's stuck in your stomach. And I feel like a smoothie is the easiest one to get down, and it's the lightest one while you're playing as well, and you can still get everything you need. So that's what I look for. But when you come to somewhere like Emporia, Kansas, you kind of don't have that option unless you're making your own.
You got to get the championship meal after everything is said and done, all your hard work pays off. After a big win, what's your favorite thing to eat?
Well, the thing with disc golf is you don't get time off. You can have a huge win, and guess what? You're practicing for the next one. So it's kind of hard to say, hey, I'm going to take a day off because I won this tournament, because in a season you got probably 20 to 25 events. So to take a week off and celebrate, you're already going to fall a couple steps behind going into the next week. So I don't know if I have anything, maybe nothing fancy, but again, it's like, if I win the Dynamic Disc Open, I really only got 2 choices of restaurants to pick from that have something worth celebrating with. But I guess if I had a choice, probably some kind of steak or something, something good. But yeah, it's usually let's pack up and get ready to go. There's no time to celebrate.
When you're picking out discs for your bag, do you focus on how they fly, or all about color, feel, weight, plastic? Is that all important to you too?
Color's not necessarily one, more so a feel. I like the feel of something, because that's really what's touching the disc, is what's in my hand. Is like I'm holding this disc. If it doesn't feel comfortable, then I'm not going to feel confident in it. That's the first thing, is feel. And then, that's the main thing. And then as far as the disc, like I know, if it's an Undertaker, I want it to be straight to understable. If it's a Force, I want it to fight the wind and be slightly overstable, if not more overstable. So the mold is the important part, one, and then having the feel that I like in the disc, and keeping them pretty uniform is key. You don't want, for me, I don't want a titanium Undertaker that's really gummy and then one that's firm, because that's a feel thing. I want them to feel the same, because then I have trust in them the same, and I feel like they're going to fly the same, and more than likely they're going to fly the same. So yeah.
What would you say your pump up music or playlist is?
It could be all over the place, but I like I like something that's catchy, that has a good chorus, something that can be catchy and stuck in my head throughout the round, because I don't like thinking during the round. I did all that in practice. I did all the thinking in practice. I did all the the planning and practice, and I did all that. So now I just want to show up and play and just kind of go through the motions and let you know what's going on, just kind of consume what's going on. And the last thing I want is 7 different song lyrics is in my head, or 7 different things in my head. I just want one catchy line to go through my head. So whatever at that time I feel like is the song I'm listening to. It doesn't matter what style, doesn't matter what type of music, as long as there's something in my head that I feel like is pushing me to move forward, or keeping me in this little focus mode of going through the motions and just letting my body flow. And that's what I'm listening to.
Obviously, disc golf is an individual sport, but how do the team dynamics work while you're on tour? Do you hang out, practice together?
As far as the teams, I think it's kind of like school, you know, like whatever classroom you're put in, you're kind of, those are the people you're going to meet first, and you're going to probably talk with the most. But that doesn't mean you're friends at the end of the day. It doesn't mean you're going home and hanging out with them because they're your classmates. It's kind of the same thing with the team. Like, you know, there might be some parties that like team parties, or team dinners, I should say, that happen. But that doesn't mean you're going to go hang out with them off the course as well, you know, but it also gives someone to root for. You know, I'm going to go back to the class thing. Like, if you have a class versus class, you're going to root for the people in your class rather than the other class and things like that. But it is an interesting thing to say it's teams, but we're just all we're under the same sponsor, but we're not on a team. We're still playing an individual sport. But you know, I definitely have some friends on Discraft, Prodigy, Dynamic Disc, Innova, like all the above. So you know, it's, at the end of the day, it's kind of who you just talk with and click with, that's really your friends. It doesn't matter about the team.
What made you drop from the Mid-America Open?
The course, the flooding of the course. I practiced that Harmony Bends, and it seemed like it was going to be an okay course. That's kind of what I was looking for. And then when it switched over to the Albert Oakland, it was just a really short course, and not anything that I felt like was going to help me going into the Dynamic Disc Open. So I kind of made the decision of, like, I could go there and I could take the week off and focus on my putt more and focus on a few other things that I feel like I need to dial in for the rest of the season, especially with Worlds coming up pretty soon. So took the opportunity to just skip that and come get some extra practice on these courses and just overall game.
We listened from Eric McCabe. What do you think about the new tee on hole 16?
AC with a golf ball. It's about all that needs to be said about it. I'm just kidding. It's a good tee pad. It's very interesting. I've never seen a dock with concrete as the tee pad on a dock, so that's very unique. I'm curious how they did that because it looks really cool. Yeah. But I really like it because now your first thought is going for the green rather than, all right, there's the layup. You actually have to go out of your way to lay up now. So from my standpoint, I think even today was extremely windy in practice. I think I'm going to go for it regardless of the wind. If I feel like I have the disc in my bag that I need, which I did today in that extreme amount of wind, I didn't have any problem getting there. It's just putting it on the right line.
How much does your bag change tournament to tournament?
Changes a lot. Like here, I know it's really windy, so there's not really much need for mid-ranges, not really a need for rollers. There's not really much need for anything other than distance drivers and putters. So that could be the exact opposite. Like Harmony Bends, when I was practicing, it just seemed like nothing but fairways. And then maybe a couple overstable distance drivers for forehands. But you know, on tour it changes all the time. Like, I don't know if there's one tournament where I have the same bag for both tournaments, the exact same disc.
How often do you alter your game plan based on the context of the round, how well you're playing, and the context of the tournament, how well everyone else is playing, and which is a bigger factor in decision making?
In practice, I like to, you know, figure out the safe play and then practice the aggressive play a lot and just see where my confidence is, where my throwing is, because I feel like usually the safe play is the easier of the shots. So I don't need to focus in on that as much. You know, it's kind of an afterthought of, all right, I'll just throw a hyzer there, I'll throw a forehand there, whatever, like that's a safe shot. So I like to practice the aggressive shots because I feel like that's where I can gain a lot of strokes on the field and I can convert them pretty well and pretty often. So I always have those shots in the back of my mind, like 16 you just brought up. Like the layup, I know the disc I'm going to throw there, I know how to throw it, but do I think I'll need that? Maybe, you know, if I'm up 2 and I got 16, 17, 18 left and the guy threw in the water right in front of me, then I'm probably not going to go for it. I'll probably just lay up and take the extra stroke and go up 3 with 2 to go. So I have that shot if I need it, and usually I'll try to practice that if I have time, you know, and going through all the shots. It depends again on how many courses we have to play and how much practice time we have. Thank you for watching, and thank you for asking so many good questions. I'm sure we'll do this again in the future, especially if we have time like we did for this one. But be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video, and down in the comments below, go ahead and ask more questions and let us know where you'd like to see this next.